Dear shareholders, good afternoon. Welcome to the 58th Annual General Meeting of TRF Limited. This meeting is being conducted over audio-visual means. My name is Prasoon Banerjee and I am the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of the company. I would like to take you through certain details relating to your participation at this meeting. The facility of joining the AGM through audio-visual means is being made available for members on first-come, first-served basis. All members who have joined this meeting are by default placed on mute mode by the host to avoid any disturbance arising from background noise and to ensure smooth and seamless conduct of the meeting. Once we commence the Q&A session, the chairman will sequentially announce the name of shareholders who have conveyed their desire to speak at this meeting. Upon being called, the host will give appropriate access to the concerned shareholders to speak. Before you commence speaking, please be mindful of the following. Use the earphone so that the narrative is clearly audible to all participants. Remember to minimize noise in the background. Ensure that you have a strong Wi-Fi connection and the same is not connected to any other device. Ensure that no other background application are running on the device that you are connected from. Remember to switch on the video and ensure that you have adequate background lighting at your place. If you are unable to join through video for any reason, request you to speak through the audio means. If the speaker shareholder has a connectivity problem, we'll call the next speaker to join. Once the connectivity improves, the speaker shareholder may again be called to speak after all registered shareholders have spoken. We request the speaker shareholders to please limit their speech to 3 minutes. Once the course of AGM, shareholders facing technical issues may kindly contact the helpline number provided in the notice of AGM. Further, as you are aware, Companies Act 2013 and SEBI listing regulation provide for electronic voting. Accordingly, the company provides to its member the facility to cast their vote through remote electronic voting administered by NSDL. Facility for voting at the meeting is being made available for members who have not cast their vote through the remote electronic voting system and are participating at this meeting. This remote electronic voting will be made available during the meeting once announced by the chairman. Members who have not yet cast their vote and wish to do so may please visit NSDL website and cast their vote while continuing to watch the proceedings of this meeting. Mr. P.K. Singh, practicing company secretary, have been appointed as scrutinizer to scrutinize the votes cast at the meeting and through remote e-voting. Since the AGM is being held through audiovisual means and the resolutions forming part of the notice convening this meeting have been already put to vote through the remote e-voting, the practice of proposing and seconding of resolution is not required and will not be followed. Thank you for your attention. Over to you, Chairman, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Prasoon. Good afternoon, shareholders, and I hope you and your family members are safe and in good health. I welcome you all to the 58th Annual General Meeting of the company. As the requisite quorum is present, I call the meeting to order. I will now call on the directors who are on video conference to introduce themselves. Mr. Sabyasachi Hazra.
Chairman and fellow directors on the board of TRF, the esteemed shareholders and other guests, this is Sabyasachi Hazra, one of the independent directors of the board of TRF. I'm also the chairman of Nomination and Remuneration Committee of the board. And I'm joining this meeting virtually from my residence at Kolkata. All the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashra. Mr. Krishnavadath.
Good afternoon. My name is Krishnavadath. I'm an independent director on the board of the company. I am also the chairman of the audit committee. I am joining this meeting from my office in Bangalore.
Thank you. Dr. Anshuman Das.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anshuman Das, independent director of the company, and I'm participating in the 58th annual general meeting through video conferencing from Mumbai. I'm the chairman of Corporate Social Responsibility Committee and a member of the Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Mr. Kaushik Chatterjee.
Good afternoon, shareholders. I'm Kaushik Chatterjee, non-executive, non-independent director of the company. I'm participating at this 58th annual general meeting through video conference from Tata Center, Calcutta. I'm also a member of the Audit Committee, Nomination and Remuneration Committee, and Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vinayak Deshpande.
I am Vinayak Kashinath Deshpande, non-executive, non-independent director of the company. I am participating at this 58th annual general meeting through video conference from my office in Mumbai. I am also a member of the Stakeholder Relationships Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Avnish Gupta.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Avnish Gupta, non-executive, non-independent director of the company. I'm participating at this 58th annual general meeting through video conference from Chennai. Thank you.
Thank you. Due to personal exigency, Mr. Ranavir Sinha, Independent Director and Chairman of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee, and Mrs. Ramya Hariharan, Independent Director, are unable to participate in the proceedings of this meeting. Further, Mr. Ranavir Sinha has nominated Mr. Alok Krishna, Managing Director, to respond to queries that you may have on the Stakeholders Relationship Committee process of the company. I now call upon the Managing Director of the company, who is also on video conference, to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, shareholders. I'm Alok Krishna, Managing Director of the company. I'm also the member of the Stakeholder Relationship Committee and the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. I'm participating at this 58th Annual General Meeting of the company through video conference from Jamshedpur. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alok. Now I request the Chief Financial Officer of the company to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, shareholders. I am N.S. Raghu, Chief Financial Officer of the company. I am participating at this 58th Annual General Meeting through video conference from Jamshedpur. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you, everyone. During the financial year 2021, the Board of Directors underwent a few changes. Mrs. Neera Sagi ceased to be a member of the board. Further, Mr. Rajesh Ranjan Jha ceased to be a member of the board effective June 18, 2021. The Board of Directors places on record its sincere appreciation for the valued contributions made by the directors during their tenure with the company. In fiscal 2021, Dr. Anshuman Das joined as an additional director independent of the company, and further during the current fiscal, Mr. Avnish Gupta joined as additional director of the company. On behalf of all the shareholders and other members of the board, I extend a warm welcome to the new members of the board. This resolution for their appointments as directors of the company forms part of the business to be transacted at this meeting. The Board of Directors recommends their appointment as directors to the company. I hope you will vote enthusiastically on the resolutions for their appointment. I would now like to welcome the company's union representatives to the AGM. We value their contribution in maintaining industrial harmony at TRF establishment and thank them for their continued support, especially during this ongoing pandemic. Today we have with us Mr. Rakeshwar Pandey, President Tata Robbins Fraser Labour Union, and Mr. Meher Hiramanik, General Secretary Tata Robbins Fraser Labour Union. Mr. Shaugato Mukherjee and Mr. Shubham Datta, representatives of the statutory auditors, and Mr. Devabrata Dutt, representing the secretarial auditors, are also attending the meeting. Due to COVID-19 concerns, lockdown and social distancing norms, we are holding this annual general meeting through audio-visual means. This format is in compliance with the directions of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, as well as the Securities and Exchange Board of India. A live streaming of this meeting is also made available through the website of NSDL. The company has also taken requisite steps to enable shareholders to participate and vote on the items being considered in the AGM. The company has received 2 letters along with board resolution from corporate shareholders appointing and authorizing representatives under Section 113 of the Companies Act 2013 in respect to 37,535,535 shares of rupees 10 each, fully paid shares, representing 34.12% of the total voting capital of the company. Since the physical attendance of the shareholders is dispensed with, the requirement of appointing proxies is not applicable. The registers, as required under the Companies Act 2013, are open for inspection in electronic mode. Should you wish to inspect, please get in touch with the company secretary at the email address mentioned in the notice convening this meeting. Shareholders who have not cast their vote earlier through the remote e-voting can do so during the course of the meeting through remote e-voting facility. Dear shareholders, on behalf of the Board of Directors, I thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We express our deep gratitude for your continued support and belief in the company. Before we proceed, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for all the healthcare workers and essential workers for their heroic efforts and exhibiting tremendous compassion and commitment over the last 18 months to battle the ongoing pandemic. We would also like to thank our scientific community and the pharma industry for the speedy development and production of vaccines to successfully battle the pandemic. We hope you and all your loved ones remain safe. Ahead of commencing the business of today's meeting, let me brief you all on the current economic scenario, your company's performance, and future outlook. In 2020, the COVID-19 outbreak contracted the already subdued global economy by 3.3%, weakening the macroeconomic conditions. Mobility restrictions and large-scale preventive lockdowns to reduce the incidence of COVID-19 further dealt a severe blow to economic activities. Governments and central banks worldwide introduced extraordinary fiscal and monetary support measures, along with prudent regulations to combat the pandemic and salvage investment and consumption. Public healthcare system, which was challenged in an unparalleled manner, was strengthened. Swift and substantial strides were made in the frontiers of better medical treatment and cure. Indian economy also experienced significant stress, contracting 7.3% in FY21. The initial months of 2021, with gradual rollout of vaccination programs and the lifting of restrictions, hinted at a stable situation and a gradual return to normalcy. However, the second wave emerging out of the virulent COVID variant hit us with great ferocity and unleashed a ravaging impact on humankind. Looking ahead, while the pandemic is still impacting our lives, we are positive to see some return of normalcy with massive vaccination drives and gradual relaxation in socially restricted measures. The momentum gives us hope that we are on a pathway to recovery. In the last 1 year, the company navigated through unique and unprecedented headwinds and uncertainties as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. In spite of a myriad production, supply chain, and project-related issues, we saw several noteworthy accomplishments, such as debtors liquidation, inventory reduction, paring down debt, and release of bank guarantees. While the health and safety of our staff remain the company's primary focus, our drive for prudent cash stewardship, strengthening our liquidity profile, and efforts for quickly regaining operational cadence helped us tide over some major business challenges. On a standalone basis, the company recorded a turnover of around 114 crores for the financial year 2021 against 186 crores for the financial year 1920. Loss before tax for the year was around 68 crores against the previous year's loss before tax of about 133 crores. On a consolidated basis, the company recorded a turnover of around 114 crores against over 186 in the financial year 1920, and the company incurred loss before tax of over 65 crores against 133 crores for the financial year 1920. On the projects front, the company successfully completed several projects, which include coal handling systems at the power plant projects, material handling circuits at steel plant projects, ship unloader for port operations. At one of the large power plant projects, the first rig of bottom discharge wagons was unloaded at the track hopper, while the commercial operation of the second unit of 660 megawatts commenced through the coal handling system provided by TRF. Some of the noteworthy projects executed for Tata Steel are erection and commissioning of wagon loader at the West Bokaro Colliery and supplying and commissioning of wagon tipler at the Jamshedpur plant. Through vigorous efforts, the company was also able to collect retention dues on reaching contractual milestones for projects under execution and substantially reduce its overall bank guarantee exposure by 16% as of 31st March 2021. Further, the company, through its wholly owned step-down subsidiary, Dutch Lanka Trailer Manufacturers Limited, Sri Lanka DLT, divested 100% held in Tata International DLT Private Limited India, a joint venture company between DLT and Tata International India. Hence, TI DLT ceased to be the joint venture of the group effective 31st December 2020. We strongly believe that our revamped business model and associated strategic initiatives will enhance the company's growth trajectory. The company will continue to work in close alignment and as a valued partner for Tata Steel. We will continue to pursue financial discipline and focus on operational excellence to deliver a gradual and steady improvement at both revenue and operating profit levels. To conclude, let me, on behalf of the board, express appreciation and thanks to all TRF shareholders, business associates, including the banks and other stakeholders, for their trust and generous support through the good as well as the challenging times of the company. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the TRF Union, its leadership, the members, and all the employees of TRF for their unstinted efforts towards making TRF more sustainable for the future. As in the past, the company looks forward to your continued support. Thank you. As a notice is already circulated to all the shareholders, I take the notice convening this meeting as read. Since there is no observation, qualification, adverse remarks, or comments by the statutory auditors in their report on financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2021, or matters which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the company, the auditor's report is taken as read. I now request Mr. Alok Krishna, the Managing Director, to make a presentation on the operational and financial performance of the company. Over to you, Alok.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. and good afternoon to all our shareholders. It gives me immense pleasure to once again welcome you at the 58th Annual General Meeting of TRF. I sincerely hope that you and your family continue to be safe and healthy. I would now like to update the shareholders on the company's safety, health, and environment performance and highlight our efforts during the pandemic. The sustained safety performance with zero fatality and no serious reportable accident during the year is a testament to our commitment towards achieving safety excellence. Given the travel restrictions in COVID times, we introduced virtual safety audits across our activity sites, which further exemplifies the company's exceptional commitment to safety. As a step in line with felt leadership, we initiated the Housekeeping and 2S program to raise workplace safety awareness, which has resulted in significant improvement in material storage and workplace management. During the pandemic, we maintained a strict vigil and adhered to guidelines from government and local administration on social distancing, masking, temperature scanning, sanitization, and all such precautionary measures throughout our plant and project sites. We enabled many of our employees to work from home and adopted the concept of pod at our facilities. We also assisted our colleagues who were tested positive with quick medical assistance and relief. Communication through occupational health and safety messages remained our primary communication tool to promote COVID-related safety protocols and advisory to employees on keeping their guards up. We also prioritize the aspects around psychological safety and well-being of our employees through this communication channel. As a next step, we acknowledge the importance of vaccination to combat and contain COVID-19 and deployed strategies to raise awareness, overcome vaccine hesitancy, assist employees in gaining access to vaccines, and encourage participation. I'm extremely happy to share that 100% of our employees and subcontractor workforce have received at least the first shot of the vaccine. Let me now begin by presenting a snapshot of key performance highlights for the fiscal year. Unprecedented forced shutdown on our manufacturing facility and project sites during the countrywide lockdown, the subsequent supply chain disruption, and the challenges around remobilization of manpower at sites severely impacted our operations during the pandemic year. While the company posted a lower than expected revenue of rupees 114 crore due to the pandemic, the bottom line performance fared better, with our continued measures on enhancing operating efficiency, cost savings, and cash flow optimization. The EBITDA loss was contained at rupees 28.6 crore as against a loss of rupees 91 crore in FY20. Despite the challenges, the company successfully completed 8 numbers of projects, engaged with the customers, and collected retention money amounting to rupees 18 crore, and liquidated bank guarantee worth rupees 42 crores. Our diligent liquidity management process saw the company reduce its borrowing to rupees 260 crore against rupees 304 crores in FY20. Now I will run through some key achievements during the fiscal year, despite the most challenging of the times. This underscores the commitment and resilience displayed by our team. A 30% reduction in overall inventory, 27% reduction in fixed overheads, and 17% reduction in debtors are some of the prominent achievements. The company also made good progress on projects completion during the fiscal year, completing 8 numbers of projects, which includes power plant projects at Meja, Wanakbori, and Harduaganj, ship unloader at Paradeep, and wagon loader at West Bokaro sites under our customers, to name a few. The company also accomplished key milestone with respect to 2 of our large legacy projects. At the Nabinagar power plant project, the first rake of bottom discharge wagons was successfully unloaded at the track hopper commissioned by the company, and the commercial operation of the second 660 megawatt unit commenced through the coal handling plant supplied and installed by the company. As for the integrated steel plant project at Nagarnar, our modular approach to project execution has helped us successfully complete 3 major material handling circuits now. With an objective of enhancing our internal controls, drive performance level improvements, and be a resilient organization, we adopted a new enterprise-wide approach of daily management. This cross-functional tool created a strategic alignment of objectives, streamlining of workflows, a comprehensive monitoring dashboard, and accelerated initiatives to drive continuous improvement. This approach has generated a company-wide culture of learning and driving change. We feel proud to report that this platform has shown some very encouraging results. Some of the notable benefits include a 50% reduction in unbilled revenue from 22 crores to 11 crores and over 90% reduction in open customer complaints from 29 numbers to 2 numbers. Respecting the values and philosophy of our founders, the company continues to serve the community and fulfill its corporate social responsibility and commitment in its own humble ways through various initiatives, which includes education to underprivileged children, promoting livelihood for women, employee volunteerism, and health awareness campaigns. Considering the growing focus on renewables in the power sector and combined with the company's financial fragility, we are now focusing on strengthening our engagement with our parent, Tata Steel, and tap into potential opportunities by catering to Tata Steel's growth requirement across steel and mining sectors. The company is mapping the interdependencies and potential synergies with Tata Steel. We are aligning our service offerings and developing a business model to realize the identified synergies. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Chairman, sir.
Thank you, Alok. I will now call upon the shareholders who have registered to speak. The first shareholder I'm inviting to speak is Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf.
Mr. Saraf, your mic has been unmuted. You may start the video and speak, please.
हाँ जी नमस्कार 1 minute.
Namaskar.
1 minute sir, I start my video.
No problem.
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उपस्थित सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयर होल्डर भाइयों बहनों, मेरा नाम संतोष कुमार सराफ, मैं कलकत्ता से बोल रहा हूँ। सर्वप्रथम आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार सर। आशा करता हूँ आप जितने भी डायरेक्टर हैं, जितने भी अधिकारीगण हैं, जितने भी हमारे स्टेक होल्डर हैं, उस समय वो और उनके परिवार सुरक्षित और स्वस्थ होंगे सर। सर मैं एक तो अपनी संवेदना प्रकट करना चाहता हूँ, हमारे कर्मचारी हों या हमारे लव वंस हो जो इस कोविड के अंदर में हमें छोड़ के चले गए, उनके प्रति मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ, भगवान उनकी आत्मा को शांति प्रदान करे, उनके परिवार को इस दुख भरी घड़ी से उभर के नॉर्मल लाइफ में आने के लिए फिर हिम्मत दे। सर आपने काफी अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन दिया है, तो पूछने के लिए तो कोई खास बचा नहीं है, फिर भी हम लोग आदत से लाचार होते हैं सर, तो 1-2 प्रश्न मैं करना चाहूंगा और जानकारी लेना चाहूंगा सर। एक तो मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, हमारे प्रसून बनर्जी को, उन इतने अच्छे मतलब दयालु है, कितने बार फोन किया होगा मेरे को काउंटिंग भी नहीं है। साथ उनकी टीम के भी जो पंकज जी हैं, उन्होंने भी कई बार फोन किया। तो मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ भगवान इन दोनों की लंबी उम्र हो, इनके साथ में जो भी उनकी लंबी उम्र हो और ये आगे बढ़े और एक समय बहुत ऊंचे पोस्ट पर विद्वान हो, ये मैं उनसे भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ सर। सर एक तो अपना कैपेक्स प्लान क्या है, कि मैं काफी दिन जब इसका आईपीओ से शेयर होल्डर हूँ, लेकिन हमें देखने कभी उठा पटक बहुत देखी सर। ये आपकी लीडरशिप में अभी कंपनी उन्नति कर रही है, तो फ्यूचर में कैपेक्स प्लान क्या है सर, और कब तक हम अच्छे प्रॉफिट में आ जाएंगे? जिसे एक जमाने में एक शेयर के दाम 1000 रुपये हुए थे, मेरे को याद है सर, तो अभी 200 के अंदर चल रहे थे, ध्यान दीजिएगा सर। और सर रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के लिए कंपनी ने क्या कदम उठाए हैं सर, ये बताइएगा। और अभी कितनी कैपेसिटी प्रेजेंट में है और उस कैपेसिटी को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए क्या कदम उठा रहे बताइएगा सर। एक सर रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के बारे में नहीं पूछा कि टाटा पर अपनी कंपनी है, तो उसके बारे में पूछना है कि उनका ड्यूटी है वो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी सोर्स का। तो आपको मैं नहीं कहूँगी आप अपने फैक्ट्री में सोलर पैनल लगाइए, मैं लगाया तो अच्छा है सर, क्योंकि उससे क्या एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी अपने को मिलेगी सर। एक सर, अपने जो एम्प्लॉय हैं इनकी वैक्सीनेट की क्या पोजीशन है? अपने जो एम्प्लॉय, कैजुअल एम्प्लॉय या उनकी जो फैमिली है, उनकी टोटल वैक्सीन क्या हुआ है और 100% वैक्सीन के लिए क्या कदम उठा रहे हैं, या कोई एम्प्लॉय नहीं लेना चाह रहा है उसके अगेंस्ट में क्या कदम उठा रही है, बताने का कष्ट करें सर। एक सर, मैं चाहूंगा कि अपने ये साल जो काफी अच्छा है, इसमें दो ओलंपिक हुए हैं, पैरा ओलंपिक भी हुए हैं और जनरल ओलंपिक भी हुए हैं सर। तो मैं चाहूंगा जिस तरह हमारे वुमेन एथलीट ने देश का नाम ऊंचा किया है ओलंपिक में और पैरा ओलंपिक में, हम चाहेंगे हमारी कंपनी में वैसे ही फीमेल एम्प्लॉय को बढ़ा के हम भी अपना उनका सम्मान करें और उनके एम्प्लॉयमेंट को बढ़ाएं, क्योंकि मैं समझता हूं कि अभी वुमेन एम्प्लॉय को रखने में कोई तकलीफ नहीं है। जितने ज्यादा वुमेन एम्प्लॉय होंगे, मैं समझता हूँ अगर हमारे यहाँ नहीं हैरेसमेंट के केस, लेकिन वुमेन हैरेसमेंट के केस भी कमती होंगे सर, कि उनकी संख्या जब जितनी ज्यादा होगी उतनी जरूरत है। ध्यान रखिए सर। एक सर, डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय के बारे में कहूंगा, उनको भी मौका दीजिए सर। पैरा ओलंपिक में उन्होंने इतना मेडल लेके आए थे सर, तो उनका भी ध्यान रखिए। और ज्यादा समय नहीं लेता हूँ सर, आशा करता हूँ वहां से प्रार्थना करो ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग कंटिन्यूस रहेगी सर, इसके अंदर में काफी फायदे हैं सर। और सर एक चीज और बता दीजिएगा लास्ट में, कि इतने जो फिजिकल मीटिंग पहले करते थे और आज जो वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग कर रहे हैं, इसके कारण हमें कितने पैसों की सेविंग हो रही है, ये जरूर बताइएगा सर। और वहां से प्रार्थना करो आप सब खुश रहिए, अच्छे से रहिए, और आपके लिए फाइनेंशियल 2021 और आपके परिवार के लिए सुरक्षित और हैप्पीनेस, वेलनेस और प्रोस्पेरस रहे, यही प्रार्थना करते हुए वक्त साहब। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार।
Thank you, Saraf sir. Thank you. Next is Mr. Rajan Anil Shah.
Mr. Shah, your mic has been unmuted. You may start the video and speak, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Sir, I have been a shareholder of TRF for a very, very long time. And I've seen the stock at 1,000 rupees, and I'm now seeing the stock at about 120 rupees. So there has been a massive wealth destruction of about 85.
Mr. Shah, can you speak a bit louder? I can hear you, but it's a bit faint. Yeah.
Sir, I have been a shareholder of TRF for a long time, almost about, I think, more than a decade. And I have seen the stock at 1,000 rupees, and today I'm seeing the stock at about 120. Wealth destruction of almost 85–90%. But I would not like to talk about that because that is past and that has been very painful. But sir, now that we have a solid board with yourself being the chairman, Kaushik Chatterjee also on the board, Vinayak Deshpande ji also on the board, a new team. And sir, if you can do wonders to Tata Steel, why is it taking so long to turn around TRF? So my question is, sir, when can we expect some signs of recovery in TRF? That is my question number one. Secondly, sir, your group company Tata Metalics was in a similar state, just like TRF, about 7 years back. Mr. Kaushik Chatterjee took over. There were two preferential issues to Tata Steel. Tata Steel infused about 402 crores. And today the market cap has gone up 20 times in the last 7 years. The market cap was 150 crore in 2014. I'm talking about Tata Metalics. Today the market cap is more than 3,000 crores. So huge wealth creation has happened in Tata Metalics. So why can't we take similar steps in TRF? Why can't Tata Steel, which is going to report a net profit of more than 25,000 crore this year, putting 400–500 crore in this company and turn around this company and help the shareholders make some money, because it's 13 years since we have actually lost money. So, sir, if you can give some idea about where the company is headed in the foreseeable future, we'll be really, really grateful. Sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. Next is Mr. Manoj Gupta.
Mr. Gupta, your mic has been unmuted. You may start the video and speak, please.
Hello.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, fellow shareholders. My name is Manoj Gupta. I am equity shareholder of TRF Limited. First of all, I thanks to you and your board for good result and good performance of the company during this epidemic COVID-19. And sir, I totally agree with previous speaker that best CFO of the country, Mr. Kaushik Chatterjee, is in our board, and he has turned around the two companies of Tata Metallic and Tin Plate. because I'm a shareholder of Tata Metallic and Tin Plate from IPO, and I've seen that what were the condition of Tata Metallic in 2009 and what's the situation today under his umbrella, under his leadership. So we should take his vast experience to make this company like a Tata Metallic, that to return to the employees and the investors, sir. And sir, I thanks to the MD for his nice presentation. And I also agree with Santosh Sraf that we could not find such type of company secretary of Tata's group that they call before the AGM their assistant or they themselves that you should join the meeting and your turn will come at this time. Please speak. And this is such. And your thanks for your CSR. I will not say a single word about the CSR because that will like as a Suraj ko Deepak dikhana, because your Tata Group has done a novel job for the country during this second wave of COVID-19. And sir, what's your future plan for the company to return to the investors and the employees, sir? And how you will reward to the investors, sir? And I thanks to you and your board that you had put a photo of Bharat Ratna JRD Tata in your video. Before you start the AGM, I was watching a video of TRF. There was a photo with his quote of the Bharat Ratna JRD Tata. So such type of practice should be implemented in all Tata Steel Group companies, sir. That before AGM, they should give a photo of Bharat Ratna JRD Tata with his remarkable views to the investors. And we want welcome to new directors in our board, and we hope that we will get benefit for their vast experience. And thanks to the board that 100% vaccination of first dose to all the employees, sir. And again, I request you to give more responsibility to Mr. Kaushik Chatterjee in this company to make this company like a Tata Metallic, like as previous speaker, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manojji. Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Abhijit Mandel.
Mr. Mandel, your mic has been unmuted. You may start the video and speak, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mandel.
It is audible?
A bit faint. If you can speak a bit louder.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chairman, and good afternoon to everyone. I am Abhijit joining the AGM from Chennai. I would like to thank the management for the initial performance presentation. I would also like to thank the secretarial team at TRF who have been asked to hold this virtual AGM. I understand the enormous effort the team would have put in behind the scenes to make this meeting as seamless as possible. And finally, I would like to hope and wish that every stakeholder of TRF is safe, sound, and their family is secure in this difficult pandemic time. Before I put forth my question, I would like to share some perspective about the company. TRF is a company that appears to be perennially in the midst of exciting turnaround, but ultimately deliver a luxurious performance. As a shareholder, you get your hopes up times and again, only to see.
Mr. Mandel, if you can speak a bit louder, please.
TRF being part of the Tata Group is shareholder. TRF being part of the Tata Group is shareholder, and indisputably mystical vision of faith that is beyond rationality and logic. For decades, the Tatas have stood for the concept of trustship of wealth. This absolute faith in a Tata company buttresses our belief that management and board are working with utmost sincerity and intensity to revise the fortune of the company. I don't ever wish to be disheartened that this faith being compromised. I am confident that the current board and management would together acknowledge this perspective and effect a successful turnaround sooner than later. I wish them the very best in this endeavor. With this, Chairman, sir, I would like to ask two basic very questions. Number one, my first question is, what would you highlight as some of the key reasons that will bolster my confidence as shareholder to remain invested in the company? Another my question is, Chairman, sir, how does your position as Managing Director of Tata Steel, which is the promoter company of TRF, work the advantage of the company? Thank you again for the opportunity given. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mandel. I will now call upon Mr. Rakeshwar Pandey, the President Tata Robbins Fraser Labour Union, to say a few words. And after that, I will respond to the shareholders. But that was the last question registered from shareholders. Yeah, Mr. Pandey.
Mr. Pandey, your mic has been unmuted. You may start the video and speak, please.
Respected Chairman Sir, Managing Director साहब, Board of Directors और Shareholders सब आप सभी लोगों को नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत नमस्कार। चेयरमैन साहब को इस ओकेजन पर हम ये बताना चाहते हैं अपने टीआरएफ कंपनी के बारे में कि हम लोग की कंपनी में हमेशा की तरह हमारे कर्मचारियों का सेफ्टी, हेल्थ एंड वेलबींग सबसे टॉप प्रायोरिटी में है अभी भी, और सबसे पहले हम लोग का ध्यान उसमें रहता है और उसमें हम लोग कामयाब भी हुए हैं। हमारे कंपनी के कर्मचारी सब स्वस्थ हैं, बिल्कुल सेफ हैं और वेलनेस के दृष्टिकोण से भी बढ़िया चल रहा है। दूसरी चीज़ आपको हम जानकारी देना चाहेंगे चेयरमैन सर को कि अपनी कंपनी में जो हमारी अभी जो पिछला 18 महीने का जो प्रॉब्लम से गुजरा है पूरा देश और हमारी कंपनी भी, उस दौरान हम लोगों ने जब जब जिस कर्मचारी को आना पड़ा, ज़रूरत पड़ा, अपनी पूरी सुरक्षा का ख्याल रखते हुए, पूरे प्रोटोकॉल का ख्याल रखते हुए कंपनी में जब उनको बुलाया गया आकर अपनी सर्विस को दिए, और जो लोग घर से सर्विस दे सकते थे वो देते रहे। तो इस बात को लेकर मुझे खुशी है कि पूरी तरह से प्रोटोकॉल का पालन करते हुए कंपनी में किसी तरह का प्रॉब्लम हम लोग नहीं होने दिए। जब जो सपोर्ट की आवश्यकता थी कर्मचारियों ने, पूरे यूनियन के लोगों ने दिया। इस बात की भी खुशी है, जो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर साहब ने पहले ही बता चुका है, कि हम लोगों ने वैक्सीनेशन के क्षेत्र में बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, उसमें ज्वाइंटली हम लोगों ने काम किया। यहाँ तक कुछ हमारे यूनियन लीडर्स भी अपनी जहाँ पर कॉलोनी है टीआरएफ की, वहाँ पर आगे बढ़ चढ़कर वैक्सीनेशन के काम में भाग लिए और पूरी तरह से 100% कर्मचारियों का वैक्सीनेशन हो चुका है। फर्स्ट डोज, सेकंड डोज में भी काफ़ी एडवांस स्टेज में हम लोग पहुँच चुके हैं। ये एक बहुत अच्छी बात है। सबसे बड़ी खुशी की बात है, आपको हम कहना चाहेंगे और शेयर करना चाहेंगे चेयरमैन साहब को, कि हमारी कंपनी में लॉन्ग पेंडिंग कुछ इश्यूज थे, काफ़ी दिनों से जो कर्मचारियों से जुड़े हुए थे, उसको बैठ करके हम लोगों ने यूनियन और मैनेजमेंट के लोगों ने बहुत ही बढ़िया माहौल में उसको रिजॉल्व कर लिया है, सॉल्व कर लिए हैं। अब हम लोग देख रहे हैं आपके तरफ कि आपका डायरेक्शन क्या है, इस कंपनी का किधर ले जाना चाहते हैं, और मुझे यह कमिटमेंट करने में खुशी हो रही है आपके सामने और बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर के सामने में, शेयर होल्डर के सामने में, कि जो टीआरएफ के कर्मचारी हैं और इंटायर टीम है यूनियन की, वो सभी आपके साथ रहेंगे और जो डायरेक्शन और दिशा आप देंगे हम लोग सभी आपके साथ आगे चलेंगे। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपकी लीडरशिप में कंपनी बहुत जल्द टर्न अराउंड होगी और फिर ये जो पहले इसकी गरिमा थी, जो पोजीशन था, वहाँ हम लोग जाएंगे और उसे आगे लेकर जाएंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपने जो बोलने का मौका दिया।
Thank you, Rakesh Pandey ji, and thank you once again to the union and the workers for their support in very challenging times. Now I will respond to the questions which were and suggestions from the shareholders. Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf, one question was, what is the capex plan of the company? Considering the financial condition of the company, there is no major capital expenditure in the near future. I think we are focused on utilizing the existing assets better and better. What is done for rainwater harvesting and what is the future plan? Company has taken steps on rainwater harvesting and is doing the best in its own ways. We are committed to nurturing and saving nature in the best possible manner. When can we become profitable again? The company has been working on various measures, including restructuring of its subsidiaries, strengthening systems, processes and controls, and deep cost reductions to improve its operational and financial performance as presented by the managing director. And while on one hand it is expediting completion of its legacy projects, on the other hand it has been seeking various emerging business opportunities which are profitable and with acceptable risk. These measures resulted in a positive cash flow at the operational level, positive change in working capital, and improved EBITDA and PBT. However, the outbreak of 2 successive waves of COVID severely disrupted the business during the last financial year and a larger part of the current financial year. The company is now concentrating on deeper engagement with Tata Steel's capex and opex programs for securing orders, which will help in improving its capacity utilization and also make better use of the key human capital that we have. These measures are expected to provide the company with stable revenue streams and regular cash flows and help in mitigating the commercial and financial risk. You had also asked what is the position, including casual employees, on the vaccination and what are we doing to promote vaccination. 100% of our eligible employees and contract workmen have received at least one shot of vaccination, as you just heard from Mr. Pandey as well. This has been achieved by raising the awareness through constant communication and facilitation, policy level intervention like making vaccination as a mandatory work condition, daily monitoring of vaccination status, and one-on-one engagement with employees and partners. What are the steps we are taking to increase women employee workforce, and also steps to increase disabled, differently abled employees? In line with the group's guidelines, we are an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage women employees in all areas of operation to make it organization ready for differently abled employees. We are also looking at what are the various facilities that we need to create in all our workplaces to enable that. Mr. Anil Shah, I'm coming to your questions. There's been a substantial destruction of wealth by over 90%. Given that we have Mr. Kaushik and me on the TPL board, why is it taking time for recovery? And when can we expect recovery of TRF? The company has been taking several measures, including restructuring of its subsidiaries and strengthening systems, processes, and controls to improve its operational and financial performance. These resulted in positive cash flow, as I mentioned earlier, at the operational level, and positive change in working capital, improved EBITDA and PBT. However, the outbreak of 2 successive waves of COVID has severely disrupted our business during the last financial year and also the larger part of the current financial year. Under the guidance of the board, the company continues to explore various opportunities to further improve its financial health and long-term sustainability. There was also a comment around Tata Metallics with preference share infusion was revived by Tata Steel. Why cannot similar action be taken for TRF through fund infusion? At the moment, there are no such plans. However, in case of any such development, the same will be brought to the knowledge of the shareholders. Mr. Manoj Gupta, thank you for your comments and suggestions. You had also asked what is the future plan to return to the shareholder of the company and how will you reward the investors? I think some of these have already been answered earlier. We are working hard. The management has been working very hard to build the systems and the processes. We've taken a lot of calls on the subsidiaries. We've also streamlined processes, and in very difficult years, you've seen that the financial performance, while it is still negative, has improved. So I think a lot of good work is going on, and closer working with Tata Steel to improve the coordination, as well as have, in some sense, with much less risk while trying to preserve as much revenue streams as possible. Mr. Mandel, again, the question about, as a shareholder, why should you remain invested in the company? The company has been working on various measures, including restructuring, like I said, and as we described in Mr. Alok Krishna's presentation, as also my answers to the previous question. We are trying to expedite completion of its legacy projects, while on the other hand, it has been seeking various emerging business opportunities which are profitable and with acceptable risk levels. These measures resulted, as I said earlier, in positive cash flows and also an improvement of EBITDA and PBT during a very challenging year. The company will work more closely with Tata Steel to help do better in the years ahead. The question was, how does my position as Managing Director of Tata Steel work to the advantage? Well, firstly, let me emphasize these are separate positions. My position as Chairman of TRF is distinctly separate from my role as a Managing Director of Tata Steel. The board of TRF, with its varied expertise, rich experience, and wisdom, collectively decides on the overall strategy, sets operational objectives, and governs key financial matters. My role as a chairman is to guide the board's processes and facilitate the best out of the collective group of the company and the shareholders' interest. What is important is one has to act according to the well-established fiduciary norms. The savings due to holding the AGM virtually is about 7 lakhs of rupees. So I think I've addressed most of the questions that have been asked. I thank you once again to the shareholders for the support. I now authorize Mr. Prasun Banerjee, Company Secretary, to conduct the voting procedure and to conclude the meeting. And the remote e-voting facility will remain open for the next 15 minutes to enable shareholders to cast their votes. The results will be announced within 48 hours from the conclusion of the meeting, and the same will be intimated to BSE Limited and National Stock Exchange of India Limited, and also uploaded on the website of the company and of NSDL. I thank the shareholders for attending the meeting and for their continued support. I also thank the directors for joining the meeting remotely. With your consent, I and the other board members would like to leave the meeting, and I request all the shareholders to stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
The e-voting had been kept open for 15 minutes as was announced by the chairman. We now close the e-voting process. I confirm that the requisite quorum was present throughout the meeting. The result of the annual general meeting will be announced on or before September 22nd, 2021. With this, I declare the meeting as closed. Thank you.